So the big dance gets underway, really gets underway yesterday, round of 64 action, what we used to call first round play, but now because of the 4 playing games, we got to call it second round play. But anyway, it gets underway yesterday with the favorites going 8-6-2. You had the requisite blowouts like Wisconsin by 40. Villanova by 20. You had the upsets of those 6 underdogs. 3 of them won outright. Dayton starting the procedures with the upset of Ohio State. Harvard, which even though they were an underdog in Vegas, I don't think it's any big surprise that they pulled the second round upset for the second straight year after beating New Mexico last year as they toppled Cincinnati yesterday. And North Dakota State, I'm not really surprised, knocked off an average Oklahoma team. And then you had a couple of pushes. One of the free picks that I talked about in yesterday's video report, Arizona State and Texas, I thought it could go either way, and I was kind of teetering back and forth on the fence. How does it end up? As a push, because Texas goes off as the 2-point favorite, and they win it by a bucket. And, of course, the other push yesterday, St. Louis, continuing a lousy string of play in the latter part of the season, needing to rally for 16 points down to come back for the win and earn the push against NC State. Really a shame that the Wolfpack, playing so strong, just faded down the stretch. But again, in this business, guys, and it doesn't matter the sport or season, it's all cyclical. So the favorites go 8-6-1 yesterday, right? And the favorites the previous 2 years in the round of 64 were 35-27-1. So we do the math, and we have 43 wins, 33 losses, and 3 pushes. 10 games over 500 for the favorites the past 2.5 years. But keep in mind, the 3 years prior to that, the dogs were 57-36-1. Again, it is all cyclical. It's all about the numbers, and that's why we do what we do. Hey, guys, Al DeMarco here, and this, of course, is going to be your Friday video report. I've got free selections coming up in just a moment on Iowa State, NC Central, Kentucky, Kansas State, Tennessee, UMass. Let's talk 12-7-1 free pick run with the college comp plays. Let's talk about some of the promotions today, the half-price play of the day. Jeff Benton, remember that incredible tournament run he had last year through the conference tournaments, right through the NIT and the Big Dance as well, capping it with that 100-dime winner he had with Louisville over Michigan. Well, today, 100-dime winner number 16 out of 22. A play just as strong as Louisville in last year's title game, 16-22, Wichita State Cal Poly. And he's on a 25-16 college basketball run overall, making $10 bettors a little over $5,100 in that stretch. Yesterday, I had a bankroll builder play, I called it. I chose Matt Rivers, who had an early afternoon play. Matt, like all you bettors out there, very thankful that the Delaware free throw shooter only hit 1 of 2 free throws in the closing seconds to allow Michigan State to escape with the cover and make Matt and you a winner. And it was a play that you got yesterday, and today I'm going to come back with another one of those plays. And this time I'm picking on for the bankroll building special Steve Budin's Brooklyn crew as they have 50-dime winner number 11 out of 16 on Oklahoma State and Gonzaga, which goes at 4:40 Eastern Time. You can save $55, which means you get the play for just $34 by using coupon code Brooklyn55, Brooklyn 55, no space between the name or the number. We did this with this Brooklyn crew on Tuesday when they had their NIT mismatch of the year. St. Mary's with the huge second-half surge at home, coming back for the win and cover in NIT action against Utah, a play you got for $34, just like today's. And keep in mind, this is just as strong as the 50-dime release they had last Monday with Gonzaga over St. Mary's, I think it was. No, it wasn't Gonzaga over St. Mary's. It was Gonzaga over Boise, I think, for the championship in the West Coast Conference. And just as strong as their 59 play, they had their tournament dog of the year with UCLA outright over Arizona on Saturday. Craig Davis, second biggest play of the season going today. It's a 75-dime release. 75-dime winner number 6 out of 7 is tournament total of the year. Iowa State, NC Central, the over-under. Save $90. Get it for $9 using coupon code Craig90. Just as strong as his last 75-dimer, Virginia over Duke in the ACC title game on Sunday. And winning day number 24 out of 36, $10 bettors up over $5,100 the past 5 weeks. Remember, yesterday, the same type of play, which was the $9 total, was Gabriel Dupont's 100-dime play. And congratulations to him. It didn't look like this was going to be a winner in the first half, but Florida and Albany managed to squeak over the total. And FYI, today is 100-dime winner in college, number 9 out of 13, is second-round underdog of the year. A play just as strong. Also, kudos going out to Brian Rosica. for winning day number 9 out of 11 overall. He's going for today, 59 double down winner number 4 in a row. Mercer and Duke, it's an early game. Wisconsin was the 59 winner yesterday. They only won by 40 over American. And I would be remiss, as I was yesterday, if I didn't mention Trace Adams, because somehow, magically, yesterday's video report, I failed to tell you that Trace Adams has been the winningest handicapper at the site in the Big Dance the past 2 years combined, making $1 bettors over $13,400 thanks to an 18-6 record. Yeah, guess it would have helped if I told you that. Yesterday, and normally, by the way, his top rate play is a 1,000-star release. Yesterday, raised the bar, 1,500-star winner, Dayton, outright over Ohio State to start the proceedings. And keep in mind, a 1,500-star play is the same rating he had as one of only 3 handicappers to have the Seahawks last month in that little game against the Broncos. Today, raised the bar, 1,500-star winner number 5 out of 7 available from Trace Adams. Okay, guys, let's get to your complimentary plays. First game, Iowa State, 8-point favorite over NC Central, the game being played in San Antonio. So let's give the props to NC Central. The Eagles, yes, that's their nickname. They beat Morgan State, Norfolk, and Howard to win the MEAC tournament. Okay. Iowa State managed to beat Baylor by 9, Kansas by 11, and Kansas State by 6 to win the Big 12 tournament. Baylor, Kansas State, Howard, Norfolk, Morgan State, no comparison here, guys. Listen, I know they've won 20 in a row, but let's look at their non-conference schedule. This is being NC Central. They opened the season with a 13-point loss at Cincinnati. They beat NC State by 10 points in overtime, lost by 11 at Wichita State, lost by 14 at Maryland. They're going to take on an Iowa State team that is number 6 in the country, averaging 83 points a game. And they're also the number 1 team in the country in terms of assists per game, which just shows you the ball movement they have and the court presence, averaging over 18 assists per game. Now, do they struggle defensively? Absolutely. Out of like 323 Division I-A teams, they're ranked number 278 in points per game yielded at 74 points a game. Now, NC Central comes in here, and on paper, NC Central, oh, hey, Eagles, number 7 in the nation in points allowed, 58.5. Let's go back to who these guys play, okay? Again, the Eagles beat Morgan State, Norfolk, and Howard to win their tournament, while Iowa State was being beaten up or beating up Oklahomas and Kansas States and Texas. I mean, Jesus, compare the competition, and you know why Iowa State gave up more points. So, a NC Central team in step-up games that gave up 74 to Cincinnati, 72 to NC State, 77 to Michigan, 70 to Maryland. I say that Iowa State will be able to bring up the big number, and I think they're a cheap chalk here today. I also like the game over a little bit, but I really think the way to go is to side here with Iowa State. Okay, next game, Kentucky and Kansas State. It goes at 9:40 Eastern Time in St. Louis. Listen, I used the Wildcats a couple of times last week in the SEC tournament as a free pick against Florida, a game which they rallied and only lost by 1, 61-60 in the SEC title game after beating Georgia 70-58, and then LSU 85-67 in the semis and the quarters of the SEC tournament in Atlanta. Yes, I realize Kentucky lost 3 of their final 4 regular season games. I realize this is a young team, but here's the deal. You have a Kansas State team that has depth. They probably go 9-10 deep with their rotation. You have a Kentucky team that Coach Cal plays like 7 guys usually. But you have a Kentucky team that has height. Look at these 2 lineups. It's really amazing. Kansas State is a small team. Their biggest starter is 6'7". Every single Kentucky starter is 6'6". Now, you just don't win games because they put you up against a wall and measure to see how tall you are, okay? But I do think it's going to come into play here. So even though Kansas State has the depth, I like Kentucky in this one. I think they're playing their best ball in quite a while, and this has been a tournament-tested team. Look at the brutal non-conference schedule they played. So I'm going to go with Kentucky, even though Kansas State is probably going to have the advantage in terms of having the fan support this game being played in St. Louis, but I like them here. Tennessee. Their coach probably saved his job by winning the play-in game against Iowa in overtime on Wednesday, 79-65. That game, of course, in Dayton, a game that they trailed 16-4 early before making the big comeback. Now, of course, to their detriment, they are playing less than 36 hours after that game. But it's not like they had to travel cross country. They went from Tennessee up to Dayton, and now they're going over to Raleigh, North Carolina. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. The lone loss in that stretch came to Florida in the SEC semifinals. They're taking on a UMass team that really didn't impress me down the stretch and really didn't impress me from February going on. I mean, this is a Minuteman team that lost to George Washington 85-77 in the Atlantic 10 tournament semifinals. And GW is a big team. Well, that's what Tennessee is. They're a strong man-to-man defense, although they played a lot more zone here in the final month of the season. And, Tennessee's going to want to slow down the tempo of the game, where Minutemen are going to want to live up to their nickname and run nonstop. Tennessee wants to funnel the ball down low to Stokes and Mainland to control the post and dictate the tempo. And Tennessee's a 4-point favorite, which I'm not really surprised at. I like Tennessee in this contest, guys. I'm going to go with the Volunteers. So Tennessee, Kentucky, and Iowa State are your free selections today. As for me personally, listen, yesterday I lost. That's the bottom line. I lost. I mean, I had 2 plays yesterday I really liked. I had a play on Louisville. I had a play on Villanova. I gave you Villanova as a free pick. They won. I had a 15-dime best bet on Louisville. They lost. And that's the way it goes, guys. I don't celebrate the wins. I don't lament the losses. And, I love when some guys in this business say, oh, I keyed the wrong game. Jesus, every time you lose, you key a wrong game, right? I mean, isn't that the reality of the fact? And the fact is, although I couldn't afford the loss, still 8 out of 11 winning days and 9 out of 12 college winners. And I get back on the horse again today. So that'll do it. Best of luck to you all. And I will catch you again bright and early, unfortunately, on Saturday morning.